There is no such thing as white supremacy. White supremacy does not exist. It's not real. You let people who are inferior, who have a system of inferiority, who have an inferiority complex, convince you that their inferiority is actually a superiority complex, and they convince you to accept it. And it bothers me, like, why are we the first to start questioning this narrative?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren
and I'm Maureen. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at what happens when Black Americans clap back at white supremacy.
Right, so in today's video that we're going to be reacting to, a very bold Black American, right, challenges white supremacy in its all entirety. And basically the question he brings forward is, if superior means someone who is better than, right? Yeah. And inferior means someone who is lesser than. So technically he just challenges this notion, and he asks himself, if white people are truly superior than black people, why do they feel the need to dehumanize, degrade,
and cheat their way through life in order to be above Black Americans?
Right.
Before we talk too much, let's watch this video and then we come back and talk about it. But please remember to subscribe if you have not subscribed to our channel, and also leave us a comment on what you think about this episode. Let's watch.
There is no such thing as white supremacy. White supremacy does not exist. It's not real. And before you come for me with the pitchforks, just hold on. Watch this video till the end before you come for me with pitchforks. White supremacy is not a thing. It does not exist. So that horse in that video, that was Secretariat, who is widely considered the second greatest racehorse of all time. The greatest racehorse of all time, unfortunately, I can't find a video because it existed at a time, presumably, when videos were not available. What's my point for making this? Okay, so Secretariat should clearly, among horse racing, it's clearly acknowledged as a superior horse. Secretariat is superior to every other horse on that track. You saw the distance. Now, here's one thing we can all acknowledge at this point, all these years after Secretariat, all these tests, everything that has been done, we can acknowledge Secretariat and its jockey have never cheated. That's what makes Secretariat the greatest horse of all time, or the second greatest of all time, is they never cheated. They never put obstacles in the way of the other horses. They never injected the other horses with chemicals to make them whatever. They never gave them sleeping pills. They never weighed the other jockeys' clothes with lead to make them heavier. You see where this is going? In this world we live, especially in America, being a black guy, you realize, not ever realize, you come to see that white people have put roadblocks in every aspect of life when it comes to being black. They've made sure that a trip that's supposed to take you a minute will take you an hour, because you have to maneuver and jump over obstacles. Now, doing this, they get to the destination they're trying to get to in a minute, and here you are 30 minutes later still trying to go through the hurdles that they put in place for you, and they start talking about, oh, we're superior. And then eventually you start calling them out. Like, you look at all the things you're doing. Look at all the things you can't claim superiority if you're putting all these obstacles in my way. And they start to gaslight you. That's the same thing that happened in the real world. Is black people, everybody was being gaslit to the point where it was irrefutable. Enough proof was there. It was irrefutable that white people are indeed trying to impede black success. And then they went and said, oh yeah, it's just a system of white supremacy. Excuse me? What got me all messed up, I'm not gonna lie, and as a black person, I'm judging our parents and our grandparents. It's how, and this is not all white people, but how a group of people woke up one day and realized that there's absolutely no way on God's green earth that they could ever possibly compete. There's no way that they could ever compete, because if they had to compete, they would always lose. So they woke up and decided to make sure that the playing field was never level. It would never be leveled. And then these people got busted, and then they started claiming that it's a system of white superiority. No, it is a system of white inferiority. I've never seen white superiority in my life, because as far as I'm concerned, every country that claims everything, it's inferiority, and it blows my mind. That's why I blame our parents and grandparents. It's, you let people who are inferior, who have a system of inferiority, who have an inferiority complex, convince you that their inferiority is actually a superiority complex, and they convince you to accept it. And it bothers me, like, why are we the first to start questioning this narrative? So does anybody understand the argument I'm trying to make here? I have never in my life seen a superior competitor cheat. It's always 9 times out of 10 times out of 10, it's the inferior one that cheats. So how are you constantly cheating and convincing me that you're superior? Yeah, I'm open. Can anybody explain that? How are you constantly cheating and trying to convince me and the rest of the world that you're superior? A funny example of this is in the scientific community. So you know how racist white people, I shouldn't say white people, racist white people keep calling black people monkeys. Monkeys, monkeys, monkeys. It's a thing. Everywhere you go, they call us monkeys. Well, eventually African scientists got tired of this, and they came out with science. They say, okay, you know what? You want to play that card? Let's play. So they brought out scientific proof and said, look, genetically, you're the closest to a monkey, because here's scientific proof that shows that West Africans are the only humans that do not have Neanderthal DNA in them. And we know Neanderthal, as you know, Neanderthals are closer to ape than humans are, than the Homo sapiens are. So Africans started playing that card, like, oh, you want to play that? You know, you're calling us monkey, but here it's in the DNA. It shows that we're not, you are. So that's how they started playing it. Africans started saying, you know what? How can we be monkeys if we're the only pure Homo sapiens and you're Neanderthal? Well, that started to catch up, and it caught up eventually. So many Africans started using it to the point that, guess what? Scientists now came back. The European racist scientists now came back with a new one. They now said, oh, guess what? We've discovered a ghost DNA. Look it up. Look up ghost DNA. So they said they've discovered a ghost DNA in Africans that is only seen in Africans. That so that means that clearly we're not pure Homo sapiens as we had previously claimed to be. Since they're a mix of Neanderthals, we're a mix of something. They don't know what it is, but it's ghost DNA. So that was their argument. That was their clock. African scientists, being the ones being the African they are, decided, you know what, we could play that game too. African scientists said, yes, you discovered ghost DNA, and here's a secret. Ghost DNA is it's the next level of evolution. It's what we're supposed to evolve into, and that's why you cannot find it in you guys, because you guys are incapable of evolving to the next level, because you have Neanderthal, because clearly you're the monkey and we're the human. So in your lifetime, you're watching humankind evolve to the next evolution, and you're gonna miss out on it because you got Homo sapien DNA. And that's where the conversation is now in the scientific community. So I don't know where the next level is gonna be, but that's kind of the point I'm saying is, we need to start clapping back. We need to start calling out inferiority for what it is you're a low tier inferior human who cannot compete, and you need these obstacles to ensure that you're in the place you are in life.
So guys, welcome back. I think I like this guy, you know, and he has really given strong points for all of us to think about, you know, and like he sort of gave us words to use when we think about this situation of white supremacy, right? And this, when he talks about this, it's something that happens every day in our daily lives. It's why when he was saying this, in my brain I was thinking about, you know, there's something he said about white people always impede the success of black people, right? So you can imagine if the world was a fair place, right? If the world was a fair place, if Black Wall Street would be in existence till date, right? Yeah, and if black neighborhoods were never burnt down by white people till date, and
or
experimented on,
right? And here here in Africa, if the exploitation of Africa in itself never took place,
if
would
everybody
we be in the same field?
And you know, guys, here in Africa, we normally talk about this thing where they call it brain drain. What do we mean by this? You find that the best, I'm telling you, the best and the most brilliant of Africans in every country, they normally take the best people to go and be doctors abroad. They normally take the best people to go and be engineers abroad. So they are exporting the intelligent people of Africa, right? And when they go abroad, anything they get to develop when they're abroad, anything they get to become part of, it's not recognized as it being coming from Africa. You understand?
Most especially because even in taxes, when they start working, you know, the taxes doesn't come to Africa. It remains in America. They build America, and most of these Africans in America, most of them don't usually come back home.
So guys, again, I go back to the point of, if you're looking at if the world was a fair place, right? If you look at the white race and the black race, how far would they go if everybody played fair and nobody had to cheat through life, right? If white people did not interfere with black success, how far do you think both races would go? If, you know, white people did not have to interfere with Africa, how far do you think black people would go? If white people didn't feel like systemic racism is something they had to incorporate in their society just so their own people could get an advantage over black people, black Americans, how far do you think the world would go? If they wouldn't be killing black people in the streets, if the cops wouldn't be killing black people in the streets, instead treat them fairly, how many white people do you think would be incarcerated because of DUI? You know, how many do you think they would arrest?
Yeah, and you know, guys, there's an important point that our brother here mentioned. He said that if you are, as we have been made to believe that white people are superior, if indeed you are a superior person, why would you need to cheat your way through life? Why would you need to invent systemic racism in order for you to give your people a leg up compared to how black people have it in America?
Right. Why would it be that anytime you need to to make yourself feel better in a situation where you feel like the other person is getting ahead, why would you need to demean them by calling them monkeys or telling them go back to Africa? Why do you feel the need? Why do you feel like you're so much threatened that you feel the need to demean another race?
Right. And you know, the most funny thing is that when he says, actually a lot of white people usually call Africans, not only Africans but black Americans, they usually call them monkeys. And as he says, when DNA is being done, actually you find that white people have the closest proximity to monkeys than the original black people, you know.
And all this behavior, I do truly believe, you can try and convince me otherwise, but I feel like this is the best argument so far I've found. All these behaviors at the bottom line lead to inferiority complex. So if you look at the two people who really, like you guys, you know, a black American really, white people don't have to live in your brains rent free for you to feel like you're living. Black people are very vibrant. They have their own cultures. They're literally busy with life. They're just busy existing, you know. But white people,
the white person who you will see inserting themselves in black people's businesses, even in spaces where black people are creating spaces for themselves to talk about black issues, you'll always find a white person in the crowd listening into what black people are doing.
Which I'd say listening is not a problem, okay? But you know, you have to know where to speak. And if you find a platform that like has been created for, you know, black people to come and air their issues, to come and talk about what they go through, or to just share common experiences, and then you find a white person popping up and trying to invalidate black people's experiences, you know, that is where the problem comes in, you know.
Right.
So guys, we'd like to know your thoughts on this episode. Consider subscribing if you have not, and as usual, we thank you so much for watching this episode, and let's catch you on our next.